1929 was the beginning of the Great Depression from the collapse of the markets. Why did that happen? You had radically inaccurate information being broadcasted out. You had boiler rooms. You had tons of speculation that was very unhealthy. You had people borrowing 10 times the amount of money that they made per year to trade stocks that turned out weren't even real. They were based on fantasies. And people with insider information were trading against that. And they knew when the symphony was going to come to an end before anybody else. And they made huge profits on the backs of the poor. And so when the poor voted, they threw Hubert Hoover out of office and they put in a guy who promised that he'd rebalance the scales for them. That's where the SEC came from. It is a job of the Congress and the Senate to update regulations and to create new regulatory agencies as technology evolves. Where is the cryptocurrency legislation? They've allowed regulation to stagnate. And FinCEN and the CFTC and the SEC and all these other agencies are left to somehow find a way to better procrustes 80-year-old regulation to a field that is like stem cell finance. It's impossible. And they're doing their best. The SEC has actually had a very light hand. It's insulting when the Ripple principles go, they're destroying the whole industry. Guys, there were, I think, over 1,000 ICOs. They've only had a few dozen enforcement actions. And where and when they could come to an amicable solution, more often than not, they found a way to do that and had the decency to contact people. At the end of the day, the regulation doesn't matter. What matters is, what do you do about it? How do you treat people? Do you have a privileged position over other people? And are you taking advantage of that privileged position over other people? Where you get into a problem is when you play games with semantics. You know you're screwing people, but you're trying to be smart and outsmart people and build a structure where you win guaranteed, and then that's at the expense of someone else. That's a moral hazard. And even if regulation hasn't evolved to a point to hold you accountable, we've invited them in, and now they're doing their best job to sort the whole thing through.